myself Bhautik Trivedi, working as an assistant professor in IT ICT department of LJ Institute of Engineering and Technology. I will explain you the concept of digital signature introduction in information and network security subject. So up to this point, at least you know the concept of message authentication, the concept of message authentication code, the concept of hash function. So if I want to generate the digital signature, how I generate the digital signature? So that's the introduction part of the digital signature. So how many types of MAC you know? So currently 3 types of MAC. One, that's a normal MAC, then after the HMAC, and then after the CMAC. So first of all, in digital signature introduction, start with the one concept. At least you know this particular concept in a detail. The name of the concept, that is known as a cryptographic goals. So if I want to divide the cryptographic goals into 4 categories, so here you just see in this particular figure, first one, that is the confidentiality, second one, that is the data integrity, third one, that is the authentication, and fourth one, that is the non-repudiation. So cryptographic goals is divided into these 4 categories. But whenever you talk about the confidentiality, so confidentiality generally using the 2 cipher. One, that is the symmetric key cipher, and second one, that is the asymmetric key cipher. Symmetric key cipher is also known as a secret key cipher, and public key cipher, that is also known as a asymmetric key cipher. But symmetric key cipher again divided into 2 parts. One, that is the block cipher, and second one, that is the stream cipher. Block cipher means what? You directly pass the block by block, and stream cipher means beat by beat you pass this. After that, second category, that is the data integrity. So first of all, what do you mean by data integrity? The sender sending the data and receiver receiving the data. The data remain as it is, so you can directly say that integrity is maintained. But in between any change in the data, so you can directly say that the integrity is violated. After that, one concept, that is the message authentication code. So message authentication already I discussed, that is divided into 3. First one, that is the MAC, second one, that is the HMAC, and third one, that is the CMAC. What is the meaning of HMAC here? Hash based MAC, that is totally based on the hash function, and CMAC means cipher based MAC, that is known as a CMAC. Then after the digital signature, after that category number 3, that is the authentication. Authentication is again divided into 2 parts. One, that is the entity authentication, and second one, that is the message authentication. Entity authentication totally based on the authentication primitives. But whenever you talk about the message authentication, so that is generally divided into 2 parts. One, that is the MACs, and second one, that is the digital signatures. And the last point, that is the non-repudiation. So non-repudiation, that supported the digital signature, mainly 2 types. One, that is the source non-repudiation. Second one, that is the destination non-repudiation. So that's all about the cryptographic goals concept in a digital signature. So that's all about the cryptographic goals. After that, what do you mean by digital signature? How I justify my answer with the concept of private key and public key cryptography. So digital signature is nothing but one kind of authentication mechanism that generally used for a sending and receiving side. So sending side generally knowing the signing phase, and destination side generally knowing the verifying phase. So digital signature is a one kind of authentication mechanism that enables the creator of a message to attach a code that act as a signature. Means whatever the message you send, you directly attaching a one code, and this code is treated as a signature. How I form the signature? If I want to form the signature, how I form the signature? The signature is formed by taking the hash of the message, because all of you know one message is there. In this message you applying the hash function, and whatever you generate, that is known as a hash of the message. And then after you applying the encryption on that, so encrypting the message with which key? So must remember one thing, in digital signature generally using the creator's private key or sender's private key. So whatever you generate, that can be known as a signature, and signature at the signing side. And whenever you go for the receiving side, that is totally verified process. So signature generally guarantee that the source and integrity of the message. That's why using the signature in information and network security subject or any security concept. And which particular standard is generally used for that? The digital signature standard. That is a one kind of NIST standard that using the secure hash algorithm. Already I discussed in a unit number 5 one concept. The name of the concept that is known as a SHA. SHA means what? Secure hash algorithm. And how many types of SHA you know? So the most important SHA, that's the part of your syllabus, that is the SHA 512. After that, the real procedure of the digital signature. So in this particular diagram you just see one Bob is there that can be treated as a source, one Alice is there that can be treated as a destination. So first of all, pass the message M. M directly pass to the cryptographic hash function or cryptographic hash algorithm. So whatever you generate, that is the H of M. After that you apply the encryption on that. Must remember one thing, in digital signature, whenever you apply the encryption, at the encryption side, whatever the key used here, that is the private key of the sender. So here the private key of the sender means Bob, that's the sender. So using the concept of Bob's private key in an encryption side, so whatever you generate S, that is known as a Bob's signature. Means this is the procedure to create a digital signature. So again I repeat this, must remember one thing, one M is there, then after you pass applying the hash function on that, whatever you generate here, applying the encryption algorithm on that, at the encryption side using the private key of the sender, but here the sender, that is the Bob, so using the Bob's private key, and whatever you receive, that is known as a signature S. One question here, what's the value behind the S? If I want to generalize this particular syntax, so what's the answer of the S? So here you just see in this particular diagram, one H of M is there. In this H of M you apply the encryption on that, and you applying the private key of the sender also. So EPRA H of M, EPRA H of M, that can be treated as a signature. This is from the sending side. After that, at the receiving side, from the Alice point of view, one message is there. Again you applying the cryptographic hash function on that, whatever the H of M you generate. So at this, whatever the signature you receive, you apply the decryption on that. Again, must remember one thing, at the decryption side using the public key of the sender or receiver, public key of the sender, means using the Bob's public key at the decryption side, and you directly retrieving the S dash, and then after you comparing the hash value of the original procedure and the decryption procedure, and if both hash value remain same, so you can directly justify your answer, this signature, that's the valid signature. But if H and H dash both containing the different value, then you can directly say that this signature is not a valid signature, that's the invalid signature. So this is the procedure for the digital signature. So must remember one thing, M is there, H of M is there, applying the encryption with using the sender's private key, at the receiving side apply the decryption with using the sender's public key, and then after you directly comparing the both hash value remain same, the signature, that's the valid signature, otherwise the signature, that's the invalid signature. So that's the procedure of the digital signature. After that, one concept, hash code and MAC. Already you know how I generate the hash code. If I want to generate the hash code, so applying the hash function on a message. Why we use the hash code? that generally provide the protection against the accidental changes to the message. So as a attacker who modify the message can simply calculate a new hash and use it instead of the original one. So you can directly say that if you apply the hash code, you apply the integrity for this. But for the MAC that is known as a key hash, means it directly apply the protection against the message forgery by anyone who does not know the secret key. So that's why using the concept of MAC. And with using the MAC, receiver can forge any message. We have used the integrity, we have used the authentication, but not using the non-repudiation, that is the part of the MAC. After that, only the name of this, not in a detail, must remember the name of each and every attack and forgeries. So first one, that is the key only attack. So key only attack means one A is there, that can be treated as a source, one B is there, that can be treated as a destination, and one C is there, that can be known as a one kind of attacker. So C knowing A's public key, so that is known as a key only attack, because all of you know in a digital signature, if you form the message, if you form the signature using the sender's private key, if you decrypt the signature, so using the public key of the sender. So key only attack only supported the attacker know the A's public key. Second one, non-message attack. Non-message attack means what? The C that can be treated as a one attacker is given access to a set of messages and their signature. Third one, fourth one, and fifth one must remember the name. One, that is the generic chosen message attack, one that is the directed chosen message attack, and one that is the adaptive chosen message attack. What is the difference between that? Generic chosen message attack means applying on any message. Directed chosen message means what? One list of messages given and based on that you can directly choose a particular one. And adaptive means what? Requesting the signature and depend on that you creating a signature. So that is the generic, directed, and adaptive. After that, total break. What is the meaning of total break? Total break means what? C directly determines A's private key, and all of you know, if I know the sender's private key, so that can be treated as a total break, because whenever I form the signature, at that time I am directly using the private key of the sender. So that is the total break. After that, three types of forgery. One, that is the universal forgery, one that is the selective forgery, and one that is the existential forgery. What is the meaning of universal forgery? Universal forgery means what? You can directly constructing the signature on any arbitrary message. Selective forgery means what? C forge a signature for a particular message chosen by C, and C means all of you know that can be treated as a one attacker. And existential forgery means what? C forge a signature for at least one message. C has no control over the message. So that's the normal introductory part for the attacks and forgery. That's the part of the digital signature. And then after the last point regarding this particular topic, the requirement behind the digital signature. Why we require the digital signature in a security? So first important point, at least you know, the signature must be a bit pattern that depends on the message being signed. Means whenever you selecting the message, whenever you applying the hash function on that, so at that time the signature must be a bit pattern. Second one, whatever the signature used here, that totally unique and it directly prevent the forgery and denial. That is the second characteristics or requirement. Third one, whatever the signature you generate, it must be relatively easy to produce. That is the requirement number 3. Fourth one, easy to recognize and easy to verify. Means 3 important point here: easy to produce, easy to recognize, and easy to verify. The most important thing, it must be computationally infeasible to forge a digital signature. If I want to apply the forgery in a security, how I apply the forgery? Though mainly 2 techniques for that. One, I constructing a message for an existing digital signature or constructing a fraudulent digital signature for a given message. Means with using the two way, you can apply the forgery in a security. And the most important one, the last one, it must be practical to return a copy of the digital signature in storage. Means whatever the signature you create, you directly put a copy or maintain a copy in storage for the digital signature. So I think that's all about the today's session. So that's the normal introduction of the digital signature. In a next point, in the next session, the algorithm of the digital signature. So mainly two sessions that belongs to the digital signature algorithm. So thank you for watching.